So in the last lecture, you saw the required validation error. In Angular, we have a few built-in validators that are based on HTML5 validation attributes. So let's say we want to set a minimum length for our first name. We can set that here. It has to be minimum 3 characters. We can also set a maximum length. Let's say 10 characters. Now finally, we can also apply a pattern. Now, in case of a first name, it doesn't quite make sense, but if you have something that you want to apply regular expression validation on, you can use this pattern attribute. So I'm going to set this to banana, and this means only the word banana is a valid value in this input field. Now, when you have multiple validation attributes, you cannot show them all with one div, like here. We want specific validation errors, okay? So we want to make a small change here. First, I'm going to remove this validation error here. Now, inside this div, we want to have a separate div for each validation error. So, div first name is required. Now, we want to render this only if we have the required validation error. So here, as the value for the ngIf directive, we type first name. Remember here we have a property called errors. Now from here, we can check to see if we have this error required. So in this errors object, we have one or more key value pairs, and the keys are the validation errors. I'm going to show you the content of this errors object in a second. Now let's add the second div. So another div, first name should be minimum 3 characters. Okay. Now once again, we want to render this only if first name errors.min length is true. Now I'm going to duplicate this, and for the last one, I'm going to use pattern. So first name doesn't match the pattern. Okay. Now let's inspect this in the browser. So initially no error. I put the focus here, move away. We get this error message. First name is required. I type only 1 character. Now look, we have 2 errors. First name should be minimum 3 characters, and the second error is about a regular expression. So if I type 2 more characters, the first error is gone, but the value we have here doesn't match the pattern. So let me change this to banana, and all the errors are gone. So this is how we add multiple validation constraints on an input field. We simply use these standard HTML5 attributes, required, min length, max length, and pattern. And for each error, we'll have a separate div. Now, finally, before we finish this lecture, let me show you the content of this errors object. So once again here, I'm going to type 1, 2. Now let's open up the console. So here's our ng model. We have this errors object. Look, we have 2 key value pairs. Keys are min length and pattern. Look at the values. So this object has 2 properties. Actual length, which is 2, and the required length, which is 3. We can take advantage of these properties and render a dynamic message to the user. So here for the min length validation error, instead of hard coding this value 3 here, we can render it dynamically. Because tomorrow we may decide to change the value of the min length attribute. We don't want to change this in 2 places, okay? So here we add interpolation and render first name errors.min length dot. Now the property we want to add here is required length. So dot required length. Let's test this. So back here, I type only 2 characters, tab, and first name should be minimum 3 characters, which is rendered dynamically.